This is Adbn News. The headlines. President Tinubu inaugurates Abuja City Walk Experience Center. Government, civil society unite to promote peace and security. IGP unveils nationwide civilian disarmament initiative. On the foreign scene, West African leaders seek solutions to economic crisis. In sport, Bielsa's deputy governor unveils Mike Kaba as new Bielsa United technical advisor. Good evening, I am Ama Marcus, and now the details. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has declared that Nigeria is open for business and ready to welcome both local and foreign investors as he officially launched the sales office and experience center of the multi-billion-dollar Abuja City Walk development. Represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima at the unveiling of the Abuja City Walk, President Tinubu said the launch marked not only the opening of a building, but the unveiling of a window to a multi-billion-dollar future that would redefine the Federal Capital Territory as a global hub for commerce, innovation, and modern urban living. Our FCT correspondent, Naomi Oleribe, has details.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu recalled that his administration had pledged economic transformation and infrastructure renewal upon assuming office, stressing that the project demonstrates the government's resolve to fulfill those promises. According to him, the Abuja City Walk development, situated along the Abuja Airport Expressway corridor, is one of the most ambitious private sector investment projects in Nigeria's history and will become the country's foremost gateway to the world. Earlier, Barrister Nyesom Wike, Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, said the project aligned with President Tinubu's efforts to attract investment into Nigeria.
In one essence, government is to give enabling environment for investors to come in and develop. There are a lot of jobs that were created here. 1 week ago, I came here personally to see things for myself, and I was happy with what the developers were doing. And I thank God, government has performed its own obligation.
In his address, Director of Link Development's City Work, Dr. Kasim Gidado, described the commissioning of the Experience Center as a major milestone in delivering the Abuja City Walk vision.
We promise and we deliver, and we have delivered some. The Experience Center has been designed to provide an immersive environment where vision comes alive. It offers stakeholders, investors, partners, and the wider community an opportunity to experience firsthand the future we build and the value we aspire to create.
The project aims to create a modern, climate-responsive and walkable mixed-use district where innovation, commerce, culture, and community life converge, positioning Abuja as a leading destination for global investment and sustainable urban development. Naomi Oleribe, Adbn News.
In another move, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has received commendation from Deloitte Africa for his administration's ongoing financial and fiscal reforms aimed at stabilizing Nigeria's economy. The president, who received a delegation from Deloitte Africa, led by the Chief Executive Officer, Ruwaida Redfern, at the State House, said the reforms had steadily stabilized the economy over 3 years, with glowing plaudits for positive developments and growth indicators.
For finance and the fiscal revenue will have the tax reform that has, taken place and moving the nation forward in its, source and application of the revenue. And I hope we continue to stimulate growth. And the effect of the reform, yes, in some instances are difficult to take, like medication, but it's working well. And for the economy, Nigeria is making serious foundational progress.
Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Taiwo Oyodele, also spoke on the reforms and impact and urged the leadership of the accounting and business firm to focus on building capacity among the youth.
We want to see more investments from Deloitte into Nigeria. Some of the reforms that Mr. President has introduced have made the business environment more attractive and made Nigeria more competitive. For example, Deloitte can have more investment in Nigeria for remote work. Not only would they give the opportunity to our young people to be able to work within the digital economy, it would also help us to be able to attract other investments into our economy. And we give you the assurances that we have very intelligent, smart young people, tech savvy, and it will not be too expensive for you.
CEO of Deloitte Africa, Ruwaida Redfern, said that the global organization is primarily focused on digital and business transformation, with over 500,000 employees worldwide working across various roles and locations, including over 6,000 in Africa.
Really, what we want to do as an organization, both globally and here on the African continent, particularly here in Nigeria, where we do see huge opportunity, is to make an impact. And so the reforms that Nigeria talks about, that your presidency is heading up, is certainly, we believe, an impactful agenda, and we believe that we can make a significant contribution to it.
Senate has confirmed the nomination of Professor Abayomi Sunday Fasina, the former Vice-Chancellor of the Federal University, Oyo-Ekiti, as a non-career ambassador, despite a heated debate over past allegations of sexual harassment and abuse of office. The confirmation followed extensive deliberations during plenary, with some lawmakers expressing concern over the implications of approving the nomination, while others argued the Senate was bound by the Constitution and the rule of law. Leading the opposition was Senator Cyril Fasuyi of Ekiti North, whose senatorial district hosts the Federal University Oyo-Ekiti. Fasuyi argued that confirming Fasina's nomination would send the wrong message to the people of Ekiti and Oyo-Ekiti.
Of Technology Oyo-Ekiti is in my constituency, and I know about this case. I also know the woman in question. The woman approached me and told me everything that happened, but this woman did not get judgment. There is nobody in Ekiti North that is not aware of this matter. If this man is given express clearance, I don't think it is going to be an issue that Ekiti, where he served as Vice-Chancellor, will be very happy about.
Also contributing, Senator Adams Oshomole of Edo North cautioned the Senate against appearing insensitive to issues affecting women.
I'm aware, and it's of public knowledge, that this gentleman, Nigeria women, have drawn the attention of this Senate that the professor in question has been accused by two women, not just orally, and these issues are pending before different courts. And I think the general view is that nobody is saying he's guilty, he's presumed to be innocent until proven guilty.
However, Senator Adamu Aliero of Kebbi Central raised a point of order under Order 52 Sub 5 of the Senate Standing Order, arguing that lawmakers should refrain from debating issues that are subject to pending litigation.
Reference shall not be made to any matter on which a judicial decision is pending in such a way as it might, in the opinion of the President of the Senate, prejudice the interests of the parties therein. Mr. President, this matter is before the competent court of jurisdiction. There's no evidence.
Supporting the Senate committee's recommendation, Senator Abdul Ningi of Bauchi Central said the Senate committee had thoroughly considered the nomination and submitted its reports.
The Senate rules and the Constitution permit the committee to evaluate your mental ability, your educational qualification, whether or not you've been convicted. These are the scenarios that the committee goes on to ask questions. The committee is not permitted to ask, how many wives do you have? Have you been divorced? How many girlfriends do you have? This is not within the purview of the committee. So if there are allegations outside this purview, then it is not the business of a parliamentarian to bring this matter up for discussion.
Presiding over the session, Senate President Godswill Akpabio ruled that under the Nigerian Constitution, every citizen is presumed innocent before proven guilty by a court of competent jurisdiction. Akpabio maintained that the Senate could not deny a nominee confirmation based solely on allegations that had not resulted in a judicial conviction. He also faulted Senator Fasuyi for raising issues he knew were constrained by parliamentary rules and constitutional provisions, urging lawmakers to adhere to due process rather than emotions.
Don't wait. Yes, sir. Let me tell you why. DSP, we must not descend into the arena. And we must be very careful. Listen to what Senator Ningi said. Even the Constitution of Nigeria, as stated by Senator Mongunu, shows that allegations are mere allegations until proven otherwise. So if you cannot destroy somebody's career, a professor of note, because there was an allegation that had not been proven up till now, and then Senator Cyril Fasuyi, you signed this report that this man is very articulate and this man is wonderful. Then you now said that you spoke with a woman. So why didn't you tell the woman to come to the committee?
The United States House of Representatives has approved an amendment seeking to withhold 100% of U.S. assistance to Nigeria until the country takes stronger measures to address violence and alleged persecution of Christians. The amendment, sponsored by U.S. Congressman Gregory Setube, was adopted through a voice vote on Wednesday and attached to the fiscal year 2027 State Department spending bill, which was later passed by the House by 217 to 209 votes, largely along party lines. Announcing the developments on X, Setube said his amendment was aimed at ensuring accountability from the Nigerian government over its response to insecurity. As preparations gradually gather momentum for the 2027 general elections, calls have continued to grow for credible, inclusive, and peaceful electoral processes across Nigeria. The call took center stage as a one-day stakeholders workshop on electoral engagement and peaceful democratic participation, themed Strengthening Electoral Engagement for Peaceful Democratic Participation. Stakeholders stressed the need for sustained voter education, issue-based campaigns, greater youth and women participation, and stronger collaboration among key electoral stakeholders to safeguard the integrity of the electoral process.
Together, we are leveraging our unique strength to remind our community that participating in the democratic process is not just a civic right, it is a moral obligation that must be executed with integrity, honesty, and absolute peace. As we look forward to our democratic future, the challenges of electoral engagement and peaceful participation loom large. Elections should be a celebration of choice, not a season of fear.
It is therefore my earnest appeal to the Office of the National Security Advisor, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, the international development partners, donor agencies, diplomatic missions, the private sector, philanthropic organizations, and all stakeholders committed to democratic consolidation to support this initiative. Your partnership will not only contribute to peaceful elections in 2027, but will also strengthen democratic resilience.
It's a tripartite pact between strong institutions, accountable leadership, and an engaged citizenry. If these three pillars hold, Nigeria will not merely conduct elections, it will emerge as a democracy that delivers peace, equity, and development for all. The task is demanding, but the future of over 200 million Nigerians depends on getting it right.
Participants also underscored the importance of combating electoral misinformation and disinformation, promoting political tolerance, and encouraging citizens to actively participate in the democratic process while rejecting all forms of electoral violence.
And what we have done at the Nigerian Police Election Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation Unit is to study what have they done, how have they been able to achieve that, what are the things that are needed to be done. And we brought in the same thing to the Nigerian situation, and in the last 1 year, we have been applying this same thing, and I'm happy to tell you that when we check the elections we've had from the Anambra State governorship election in November last year to the FCT area council election in February this year, up to just last month, June governorship election in Ekiti, there has been one thing consistent, which has not been happening before. That has been peaceful nature of this election.
Journalists has a critical role to play free during and after the election. One of our most role is the area of education, voter education, and I think we need to do more in this regard. I believe we are doing a lot. Most of the times people are accusing us for not doing that, but I think we are doing a lot in this regard, and at the same time we need to also do more. I want to use this opportunity and appeal to the federal government. Globally, most of the developed countries, if you see it critically, government come to the aid of the media. They give intervention, they give bailout to the media. But in Nigeria, we have to appeal to the president so that he can consider a bailout for Nigerian journalists or Nigerian media industry, so that at the end of the day we can be able to play our role without fear or any favor. And above all, I want to use this opportunity to also appeal to journalists who are covering elections. Let's come together, build our capacity so that we can be strong ambassadors at the end of this election exercise in this country.
I want to also urge NOA to please educate the citizenry. It shouldn't be a seasonal thing. It should be a daily thing. And we should also leverage the secondary schools. Some of them are up to 18, some of them are not. But let us start young. Let us start.
I will take the video myself when I meet the.
So that when they become 18 and start voting, it will be very easy for them to understand what to vote, voting in their communities and in the country is. Because this is what can help the education. This can what will help our country at large.
The workshop brought together representatives of the National Orientation Agency, civil society organizations, election observers, community leaders, and other democracy advocates who reaffirmed their commitment to supporting free, fair, credible, and peaceful elections ahead of the 2027 polls. In efforts to tackle youth unemployment and promote entrepreneurship, Nasarawa State Government has trained over 50 youths under the Sule Economic Empowerment Development Scheme, also known as SEAT. The participants were equipped with vocational, digital, and entrepreneurial skills aimed at helping them become self-reliant, create jobs, and contribute to the state's economic growth. Adbn's correspondent Mary Ojiji reports.
Youths drawn from the 13 local government areas of Nasarawa State have completed the intensive training held in Akwanga under the Sule Economic Empowerment Development Scheme, SEEDS.
It's an opportunity for you.
Representing Governor Abdullahi Sule, the Commissioner for Youth and Sports Development, Kwanta Yakubu, said the initiative is a long-term investment in the future of young people, combining vocational and digital skills with sustainable business support.
The scheme will continue to serve as a one-stop shop for all youth empowerment initiatives of the administration of His Excellency Engineer Abdullahi Sule under a new arrangement in the Ministry of Youth and Sport Development. His Excellency as a governor is somebody that is committed, that as a graduate, you must have an additional skill to consolidate in your first empowerment strategy, which is having your certificate, and the skill will complement it and will make you a self-reliant.
The lead consultant, John Uzo, described SEEDS as Nigeria's first comprehensive youth empowerment program, deliberately designed to ensure beneficiaries build lasting businesses rather than dispose of empowerment items.
Not only teach you on the services and some of the things that you can leverage this tool, which of course is a kiosk. It will show you deeper things that you can leverage to make more money, because the whole idea of this project is for youth and self-reliance, financial freedom, and wealth creation.
Participants thanked Governor Abdullahi Sule, pledging to apply the skills acquired and share the knowledge with other youths.
This is actually the kind of empowerment that we, the youth of Nasarawa State, will need. So something that it can teach you, that impacts you, that you can learn, and if possible, even teach others. We don't truly or really need the white-collar jobs for everybody. Of course, the government cannot do that. But with programs like this, with youth empowerment like this, where they will teach you skills that you can earn a living, is actually the best for us.
This is a very life-changing program that you need to be established, Governments cannot give everybody jobs. So with this program, you're going to establish yourself, you're going to be financially stable.
Facilitators for the program were drawn from Sweden, Nollywood, and other professional organizations. The beneficiaries will be given empowerment tools, which will be presented by Governor Abdullahi Sule. Mary Ujiji, Adbn News.
First Lady Senator Oluremi Tinubu has reiterated the importance of skills acquisition and economic empowerment for members of the Police Officers' Wives Association, saying financially empowered women play a vital role in building stronger families and supporting national security. Represented by the wife of the Minister of Defense, Mrs. Ogogo Musa, at the 2026 National Convention of the Association in Abuja. The First Lady encouraged members to embrace vocational training and entrepreneurship as pathways to self-reliance and sustainable livelihoods. Our security correspondent, Fumilola Adeyemi, has this report.
Colorful attires and a spirit of unity sets the tone as members of the Police Officers' Wives Association fill the Police Resource Center in Abuja for their 2026 National Convention. National President of POA, Olufumilola Disu, said the gathering was designed to strengthen the association's commitment to the welfare and empowerment of police families.
Over the next 3 days, we will invest in your health, emotional well-being, economic empowerment, and personal growth, because a stronger woman builds a stronger family.
The Inspector General of Police, Olatunji Disu, urged members of the association to continue providing moral and emotional support to their husbands as they carry out their responsibilities of safeguarding the nation.
Your role, however, extends beyond supporting your families. You are ambassadors of the Nigerian Police Force. The values you demonstrate through your conduct, your interactions in every society, and your commitment to charitable causes contribute significantly to public perception of the police. I therefore encourage you to continue to uphold the ideals of integrity, discipline, humility and compassion, which has become the hallmark of this great association. Continue to keep our flag flying by projecting the association with dignity and by remaining exemplary in your communities.
Delivering the message of the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, Mrs. Ogogo Musa, encouraged members to embrace skills acquisition, entrepreneurship, and self-reliance as tools for economic empowerment.
As you deliberate, and I encourage you to make the most of the convention, learn from one another, build lasting connections, and return home with renewed purpose. As women, I urge you to continue to learn, develop new skills, support each other, and create opportunities that improve the lives of your families and communities.
The convention drew serving and retired senior police officers, their spouses, as well as leaders of other security agencies, with deliberations focused on enhancing the welfare, empowerment, and resilience of police families across Nigeria. From the nation's capital, Fumilola Adeyemi, Adbn News.
Inspector General of Police Olatunji Disu has reaffirmed the Nigeria Police's commitment to reducing the proliferation of illegal arms and the announcement of a civilian disarmament initiative aimed at recovering weapons in unauthorized possession. The IGP made this known in Abuja while receiving a delegation from the National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons, stressing that closer interagency collaboration remains essential to improving internal security and curbing armed violence across the country. Our security correspondent, Fumilola Adeyemi, has this report.
Strengthening the fight against the proliferation of illegal arms and ammunition took the center stage as the leadership of the National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons meets with the Nigerian Police Force in Abuja. Both organizations emphasize the need for stronger partnership, information sharing, and coordinated action to stem the flow of small arms and light weapons across the country.
It is incontrovertible that proliferation of illicit arms and ammunition in Nigeria and terrorism, violent extremism, violent crimes across are intertwined. They are inseparable. It is the availability of illicit weapons that encourages violent extremism and all forms of violent crimes across board. Talk of Boko Haram in the northeast, talk of banditry, talk of kidnapping.
The Inspector General of Police, Olatunji Disu, reiterated the force's determination to launch a civilian disarmament exercise designed to mop up illegally held firearms and enhance public safety.
We have to talk to the members of the public. We have to advocate to them. And we have to find a way of gathering information from them, making it easy for them to give all this information. And most importantly, so we can do civil disarmament of people with illegal arms in their possession. We need to talk about it. We need to let the people know. We need to let them know that it is not only us putting on the uniform that are security operatives. Everybody at the police. I'd say the police are the community and the community are the police.
With preparation for the 2027 general election gaining momentum, both agencies say they will deepen collaboration to prevent the illegal movement and misuse of weapons, a move they believe will strengthen national security and support peaceful electoral processes. From the nation's capital, Fumilola Adeyemi, Adbn News.
As Nigeria continues to grapple with security challenges, stakeholders are shifting the focus beyond conflict to the work of building lasting peace. At the Peace and Security Summit 2026 in Abuja, government officials, security experts, and civil society leaders called for greater collaboration while recognizing individuals contributing to the national unity and development Our correspondent reports.
Peace is often spoken about as an aspiration, but in a country where security remains one of the defining national conversations, those working quietly to build unity are increasingly being recognized. In Abuja, that recognition is taking center stage. Government officials, security stakeholders, and civil society leaders have gathered for the Peace and Security Summit 2026, a platform aimed at celebrating individuals and institutions whose celebration have advanced peace, security, and national development.
We must be extremely careful. And it's one thing for us to always tell our leaders that there is a lot of danger ahead of us. We should not be treating the issues of security with levity. We have to sit down. Look at what is wrong. Address.
To speak without peace, there can be no investment. No foreign investor will come and put his money in a country that is not secure. So all the certain lifestyle of Mr. President and the government will amount to nothing if insecurity is not being tackled.
Speakers say tackling Nigeria's security challenges demands a whole society approach, with government, communities, and citizens working together.
But whatever we found out today, we are going to the lawmakers to say, this is what we have found, this is how we're trying to help, please let us implement. But from the top of my head, I believe that what we are lacking is the intelligence. There's a bridge between the security agencies and the communities. Hence, that intelligence bridge gap has to be bridged, which is what we're doing today.
I want to speak to all Nigerians. They should not be deterred. Security is everyone's business. Let us start, be on our feet, and work hard to ensure that there's peace in this land. And I want to tell you, I strongly stand behind President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, especially on this community police bill that is before the National Assembly.
The conversations have concluded. The real test now is whether the ideas shared here can help shape a more peaceful future for Nigeria. Jesse Morris, Adbn News.
The commanding officer, 6th Division Nigerian Army and Land Component Commander, Joint Task Force, South-South Operation Delta Safe, Major General Eric Emeka, has charged commanders of affiliated formations and units of the division to leave enduring legacies in their units by initiating projects that enhance personal welfare and improve operational capabilities. Major General Emeka stated this while commissioning an accommodation block, the Corporal Below Quarters, at the 29th Battalion Headquarters in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Our correspondent, Achinonu Temple, reports.
The newly remodeled and reconstructed Corporal Below Quarters at the 29th Battalion Barracks was done by the commanding officer of the battalion, Lieutenant Colonel Emmanuel Ochibo, and it is in line with the Chief of Army Staff, Wadi Shuaibu philosophy of Soldiers First. The building, which was constructed over 30 years ago for the use of the soldier, had over time been deteriorating due to prolonged use and no longer meeting the standard of welfare of soldiers before help came through the battalion commanding officer, Emmanuel Ochibo.
I gave him a tax, he has complied with that. He's keen about the welfare of our troops. The soldiers' first culture is very close to his heart. And it's in line with that all of us will copy from the divisions to the brigades to the battalions. And the CEO has done very well. Thank you for doing this, and to enjoin you that you should not rest on your horse. Continue. Don't say you have done one and you go and sleep. You must continue to do more.
On behalf of officers and soldiers of 29th Battalion, I sincerely appreciate your exemplary leadership, guidance, and unwavering support. Your vision continues to inspire us to pursue excellence.
Pictures, they say, preserve the past, inspire the present, and project the future. This statement also motivated the construction of dual-purpose battalion photo stand and notice board by the 29th Battalion Commanding Officer. The facility will also serve as a befitting first lift to the 29th Battalion headquarters.
This photo stand and notice board has added some level of beauty and aesthetic to the battalion headquarters. Expect more like this, and particularly commend him again for the remodeling and restructure corporals below quarters, which we commissioned earlier on. Join him to continue to do more.
It is our hope that every officer, soldier, family members, and guests who takes a photograph here, will live with profound memories and pride in the image and heritage of 29 Battalion.
Some of the soldiers who benefited from the new quarters commended the army chiefs and pledged to see it as a moral booster in crime fighting. Achinono Temple, Adbn News.
Former Kaduna State Governor Malam Nasir El-Rufai has withdrawn 3 applications filed in his ongoing alleged corruption trial before the Kaduna State High Court. His new lead counsel apologized to the court over the nature of the earlier applications and sought time to file fresh application. Speaking to journalists after the court proceedings, counsel to the prosecution, Ibrahim Mukhtar, alleged the defense had continued to file multiple allegations, including requests for the trial judge to recuse himself, despite the prosecution being ready to proceed with the hearing.
For that very application that was filed on the date fixed for hearing, the 6th day of July, matter was adjourned to today for hearing of the said application. In between the adjourned date to today, 2 more applications were filed, and on the same issue, the same subject matter, that is asking the judge to recuse himself.
Justice Darius Kobo subsequently granted the application to withdraw the earlier motions and adjourned the matter to the 22nd of July 2026 for hearing on the fresh applications. The federal government is prosecuting former Governor Nasir El-Rufai on allegations of corruptions, which he has denied. A substantive trial is yet to commence due to a series of interlocutory applications filed by the defense.
On the 6th of July, when the matter came up for hearing, we were ready with witnesses, but the defense came up with an application, and as a result, the matter was adjourned. That means this kind of series of applications lead to frustration of the trial, and that is exactly what is happening now.
Minister of Works, Engineer David Umahi, has dismissed allegations of foul play in the death of his aide, Mary Habila, insisting there is no evidence linking anyone to her death. He is, however, calling for an autopsy to determine the exact cause of death. The Minister of Works had broken his silence over the death of his aide, Mary Habila, describing the incident as a personal tragedy and dismissing claims of foul play. According to the minister, the deceased, a nurse attached to the Federal University of Health Sciences in Ebonyi State, had worked closely with him for about 3 years and was regarded as a member of his family. The minister said Habila had a history of medical challenges and disclosed that shortly before her death, she had reportedly complained of a nosebleed during a telephone conversation with her boyfriend before communication suddenly stopped.
And 3 minutes later, the boyfriend called again. She was not responding. It means that, God forbid, somebody dies in Ministry of Works, the minister must be accountable to that. Is that what they are saying? Life is spiritual. When you want to use the unfortunate death of a young girl to play politics, if we have hands in the killings, it will follow us in our family. But if we don't have hands and you are jumping into it, behold, this is David. I'm a man of full grace. The second girl is from Benue State, and that girl has worked with me as a governor before she was employed. And so when people darken the self, so why I'm not talking to the president, that means nothing, but very painful to me that that girl passed on.
The minister appealed to the deceased family to permit an autopsy to determine the exact cause of death and disclosed he had requested the Inspector General of Police to transfer the investigation to Abuja for a thorough probe. He also urged the public to avoid speculation and allow police investigations to run their full course. The death of Mary Halbila had generated widespread public attention, with calls from some groups for an independent investigation as police continue with their inquiry. You're watching Adbn News at 7. More reports to come after this break. Stay with us.
Abuja is rising. The Federal Capital Territory keeps moving forward with purpose, progress, and renewed hope. Join the Federal Capital Territory Administration as we continue to celebrate the commissioning of landmark projects and flag off new ones under the visionary leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR by the Honorable Minister of the FCT, His Excellency Barrister Nyesom Ezenwo Wike, and Honorable Minister of State FCT Dr. Maria Mahmood in commemoration of the 3rd anniversary of the administration of Mr. President. Day 28. On Friday, the 17th of July 2026, the President, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, will commission the reconstructed Arab Bazango Road in Kubwa, Wari Area Council, FCT. Venue, along Arab Road in Kubwa. Time, 12 noon. Let's be part of history. The Federal Capital Territory Administration, building infrastructure, preserving history, empowering communities, transforming lives.
Welcome back. Amnesty International Nigeria is calling on the federal government of Nigeria to take a leading role in efforts to end the conflict in Sudan, following the release of a new report alleging crimes against humanity in North Darfur. The report, City Under Siege, Children Under Fire, documents alleged attacks on civilians, including women and children, during the ongoing conflict. Amnesty says the crisis has become one of the world's worst humanitarian emergencies. Speaking at a Sudan Solidarity and Advocacy engagement in Abuja, Amnesty International's Nigeria's country director, Alwal Rafsanjani, urged Nigeria, the African Union, and the United Nations and the international community to push for an immediate ceasefire, unhindered humanitarian access, protection of civilians, and accountability for human rights violations. The Amnesty report alleges that Sudan's Rapid Support Forces committed grave abuses against civilians in and around El Fasher, North Darfur.
Millions have been displaced, entire communities have been uprooted, healthcare systems have collapsed in many areas, humanitarian access remains severely restricted, and countless families continue to endure an unmanageable hardship. Beyond every statistic is a human story. It is a mother searching for a safety, a child deprived of education, a family forced to flee their home, and communities struggling to survive. As Africa's most populous nation and one of the continent's leading voices in the regional peace and diplomacy, Nigeria has an important role to play.
Former Nigerian ambassador to Sudan, Suleiman Dairu, called for a stronger and financially empowered African Union capable of responding decisively to the crisis, while also urging Nigeria to address its domestic security and economic challenges.
Sudan, unfortunately, since it became independent in 1956, has been facing one problem or the other. First with the Southern Sudanese, then Darfur, and now it is the entire country, with over 14 million people outside Sudan. Those remaining in Sudan are nothing but refugees. I visited many refugee centers or IDPs. You could not believe the inhumanity that would create such a situation.
As the conflict continues to displace millions and restrict humanitarian access, Amnesty says Africa and the international community must act urgently to prevent further suffering. Now to Lagos State, where the governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has ordered immediate drainage intervention in flood-affected communities along the Lekki corridor after inspecting areas impacted by recent heavy rainfall. The governor visits Ogombo, Monastery Road in Sangotedo, Chevron Drive, Ajiran, and Betu Olorunkemi Road in Awoyaya, alongside Deputy Governor Obafemi Hamzat and other state officials. Speaking during the inspection, Governor Sanwo-Olu blamed the flooding on heavy rainfall linked to climate change and human activities that blocked natural waterways. He said the state will intensify dredging, excavation, and drainage expansion projects to improve water flows and reduce flood risk.
In all of the journey we've seen today, there is a natural occurrence, there's also a human factor out of it. But I think the volume of water that we've recorded in the last 3-4 weeks in Lagos are largely due to natural occurrence, right? And nature will always take its course. But it's important for me that between the last 2 days when there's a slowdown of the rain, for us to come out and see where we need to do additional drainage improvement and additional investment in building, clear water channel. Here where we're standing now, we need to come back here at some point before the end of it and come and raise the decompa so that the height will be higher, right, and that the water can flow even a lot more.
Governor Sanwo-Olu further stated that many of the waterways and wetlands in the affected communities have existed for decades and naturally channel stormwater into the Lagos Lagoon. He also sympathized with the affected families, assured them of government support, and urged residents in flood-prone areas to pay attention to weather advisories and relocate to safer locations where necessary.
And so we are all inside the water. We have seen the consequence of our inaction or our lack of action, or the ones that are due to human effort. But the ones that is nature, we can't do anything about it. It will rain. We're under the rain. You can see it started drilling again. We cannot, take away that. And these are natural climate change occurrences. In other parts of the world, we are seeing very, very heavy sun and high temperature. When it happens, it goes up into the atmosphere, it comes down as heavy rains. So let us also go back and study the physics. I want to assure our citizens that we'll continue to do this kind of exercise, especially during this rainy season. So we all have a role to play.
In the meantime, residents in several communities along the Lekki corridor are counting their losses after days of heavy rainfall, triggering widespread flooding, leaving homes and roads submerged and daily activities disrupted. Our Lagos State correspondent, Omolabake Lawal, reports on the situation in the affected communities.
In communities including Ogombo, Monastery Road, and Awoyaya, floodwaters invaded homes, damaged property, and forced some families to seek temporary shelter. Waterlogged roads have also disrupted movement and affected businesses. Residents describe the flooding as a recurring challenge and are calling for lasting drainage solutions, saying temporary measures have failed to stop the annual problem.
The way the thing is going every year is terrible. There was even a year that we had to bring canoe to fly here for children to go to school, because most times it used to be third term section for children to go to school and finish up their exams. It's very terrible. The water is very terrible. Even those of us living inside, this place is just phase one. This place is just phase one of the water. Those of us living inside, very close to the coastal side here, in my own personal compound, water is reaching me inside the, I'm wearing rain boots. After wearing that rain boot, water will be entering inside the rain boots. If I'm to walk across my street, as tall as I am like this, I'll have to lift up my clothes above to my stomach before I can pass through that street to get to my house. So the water level is extremely high this year, and the water is not flowing. It's just stagnant, very, very stagnant. All this green algae flows on the water freely as if it's a river. So the water level is very, very high. Presently, my borehole, I can't use the water of my borehole to cook because all the water has entered inside the borehole and the soccer waste has been filled up.
If you talk about clean Lagos, you are talking about the clean environment. And when waste, in fact, the Bejuleki still feels that they are in the days where this is a village, but the time has come for them to pay for their waste. If they are not paying for it, government should come in and evacuate the waste, and they should do that timely. Some of them refuse to register with Lama. The reason is that when the waste pile up, they become health hazard to the people. Do you understand? So why will you be paying for waste and the waste are there and children start getting sick as a result of a long stay without evacuation?
With more rainfall expected in the coming weeks, many fear that the situation could worsen if lasting measures are not put in place. In Lagos, Omolabake Lawal, Adbn News.
The adoption of artificial intelligence in education is widening the gap of inclusivity for students and academics living with disabilities, leaving them with inefficient teaching and learning conditions. Adbn's correspondent, Precious Ukeje, reports that both lecturers and students who are differently abled experience lack of access to unintended exclusion from AI tools. Here's the report.
The National Artificial Intelligence Strategy, a 5-year roadmap developed by the Federal Ministry of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, envisaged universities as a major contributor in Nigeria's adoption and implementation of AI through research. However, the experience of special students and academics appear to leave open more gaps in this regard, as the National Association of Persons Living with Disabilities at the University of Uyo, whose president, Kidi Monday Gift, told Adbn that they have little access to regular facilities, talk more of artificial intelligence tools, which he believes are expensive.
It's quite cumbersome, and the reasons is because in this part of the world, we don't have all the resources as to afford some eye chains for ourselves, mostly for the visually impaired, talking about the magnificent glass and some other advanced tools.
Why the special students believe that the absence of these tools is responsible for an unwholesome learning experience as normal students. Edonisita Chibong, a visually impaired professor of special education at the University of Uyo and staff advisor of the association, worried that artificial intelligence, although with some advantages, had watered human agency in academic research among students.
Actually, everything has its own positive and negative aspects. When I was in school, there was nothing like AI. Even the internet was not in existence. But now you have students that have Android phones, AI, and they're still failing. You wonder why. AI has made many students very lazy, very, very lazy. And it encourages malpractice.
Professor Chibong added that every technology, including AI, carries with it an unintentional exclusion of persons living with disabilities, but urged designers of artificial intelligence tools to ensure inclusivity of people living with disabilities.
Naturally, whether intentionally or not, persons with disability, they seem to be left out. The emergence of AI, yes, the availability, accessibility, and so on and so forth, it's disadvantageous to persons with disability. Simple word there is inclusivity. They should make sure that in every step of the way, persons with or without disability are considered.
As the Nigerian education system continues to navigate the adoption and implementation of AI, special considerations must be made for students and academics who are differently abled. Precious Ukeje, Adbn News.
Nigeria has urged ECOWAS to adopt a stronger united response to terrorism, democratic challenges, and rising anti-African violence across the continent. Speaking at the 56th ECOWAS Mediation and Security Council meeting in Freetown, Sierra Leone, Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Shola Enikonolaye, called for stronger regional collaboration against terrorism and transnational crime, while urging member states to fulfill their financial obligations to the bloc. He also reaffirmed Nigeria's commitments to credible 2027 elections, condemned anti-African attacks in South Africa, and called for continued dialogue with Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, despite their withdrawal from the regional bloc. Now to sports, where the Delta State Deputy Governor, Dr. Peter Akpe, this morning unveiled Coach Abdul Maikaba as the new technical advisor of Bayelsa United, with a charge to return the team to the Premier League in the next season. The technical advisor will be assisted by another tested Nigerian coach, Ngozi Elechi, a former handler of Go Round FC, Omoku. Dr. Akpe said Governor Doye Diri, who is not happy with the relegation of the team, has given the Dr. Peter Singlebo-led interim management board the immediate task of returning Bayelsa United to the Elite League. Coach Maikaba has managed several NPFL clubs, including Wiki Tourist, Plateau United, Akwa United, Eyimba, Enugu Rangers, and Kano Pillars. He also recently took charge of Nigeria's Flying Eagles for the team as it prepares for the Waffle B Under-20 Championship. Well, that's it on ADBN News at 7. Remember to watch us live on DSTV channel 258, Star Times channel 140, Avo TV app, Limex World TV app, and Niger TV app. For more stories, visit our website at adbntv.com. Not forgetting, you can watch us live from every part of the world by logging on to adbntv.com/live. Thanks for joining the news this evening. I am Ama Marcus. Do enjoy the rest of our broadcast. Good evening.
ADBN, a part of you.
An impact in humanitarian industry.
I am so delighted. I'm very happy to be a winner of Hills and Cruising.
Download the app and you may be the next week lucky winner.
We have been able to give you a different perspective to entertainment program.